So, you've probably heard the myth before, right? The idea that Asian skin simply doesn't age, or that there's some sort of magical fountain of youth locked away in Eastern genetics. Well, the truth is actually far more fascinating than the fiction. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to completely unpack the real secrets of Asian beauty skin. We're going to move way past the stereotypes and dive deep into the actual biology, the clinical dermatology, and the ancient rituals that have been scientifically proven to create that flawless skin phenomenon. We'll discover exactly how nature provides a biological head start and how centuries of meticulous, targeted nurture maintains it. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the baseline biology of Asian skin, uncover its unique hidden sensitivities, and then explore the cultural rituals like the legendary double cleanse and the actual magic of sake that keep it looking so incredible. All right, jumping right into part one, the biology of Asian skin and that genetic head start. Get this. Clinical studies show a pretty staggering dermatological fact. Asian skin typically exhibits the chronological signs of aging. We're talking fine lines, deep wrinkles, a full 10 to 20 years later than Caucasian skin. 10 to 20 years. That is literally an entire decade or two of delayed aging. But this isn't magic, you guys. It entirely comes down to what is physically happening beneath the surface. When we compare the two, the real secret reveals itself in the dermis, which is the second layer of your skin. Asian skin fundamentally possesses a much thicker dermis. And why is that? Because it's absolutely packed with larger and significantly more numerous fibroblasts. Think of fibroblasts as your body's little collagen factories. Because Asian skin has so many of these highly active factories, it acts as a really robust biological shield. It preserves elasticity and essentially blocks early wrinkle formation and sagging. But actually, it's not just the skin itself. The underlying bone and tissue shape our entire perception of youthfulness. In aesthetic plastic surgery, there's this really fascinating structural concept known as the baby model. Basically, the Asian face naturally mimics infant proportions. It's wider, it's rounder, it has a flatter midface, higher eyebrows, and fuller upper lids. So it's not just that thick, bouncy collagen. The very geometry of the face is essentially tricking the human eye into seeing youth. Now, you might be thinking this sounds like total biological perfection, but there's a really brilliant paradox at play here. When we look at the clinical traits across different skin types, Asian skin boasts the highest ceramide levels for beautiful moisture retention, but surprisingly, it has the absolute weakest barrier against mechanical stress and rubbing. It also has incredibly high skin reactivity and really high sebum, or oil production. This means if you aggressively scrub the skin or expose it to harsh elements, it breaks down way faster and reacts way more severely than other skin types. Which brings us to part two, sensitivities and the hidden vulnerabilities. Because that weak mechanical barrier means a super gentle routine isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So you really gotta wonder, if this skin is naturally blessed with a thick dermis, abundant collagen, and all that amazing moisture retention, why on earth is Asia the birthplace of the famously elaborate 10-step skincare routine? Why not just wash with bar soap and go? Well, the answer lies in how this specific skin type uniquely responds to damage. Because Asian skin falls into the Fitzpatrick 3 to V scale, meaning it has a naturally deeper baseline of pigmentation, it harbors higher levels of melanin distributed widely throughout the epidermis. Because of this, the first sign of aging isn't a wrinkle at all. No way. Instead, photoaging manifests as sudden freckles, age spots, and hyperpigmentation. And these often start rapidly appearing as early as a person's 30s. And this leads us to its absolute greatest vulnerability, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, or PIH. Remember that weak mechanical barrier we just talked about? If you subject this highly reactive skin to harsh scrubbing, intense chemical peels, or even just minor irritation from picking a pimple, the skin's melanocytes totally panic. They overproduce melanin to protect themselves, leaving these really stubborn brown spots that can literally take months to fade. You simply cannot scrub the skin into submission. You have to treat it like the most delicate silk. Moving right along to part three, the double cleanse ritual, nurturing a delicate canvas. Knowing the skin's weak barrier, how exactly do you clean it without damaging it? The answer to that question has a wildly rich history. Back in the 14th century, geishas wore this incredibly heavy white oshiroi makeup. To remove it without destroying their skin through harsh friction, they naturally massaged camellia oil into their faces. It literally dissolved the paint so they could just wash it away gently. Fast forward to 1967, visionary makeup artist Shu Uemura pioneered the very first commercial cleansing oil. And today, the double cleanse remains the absolute bedrock of Japanese and Korean beauty routines worldwide. It is such a beautifully logical two-step process that anyone can easily adopt. Step 1, you massage an oil-based cleanser specifically onto dry skin. Because like attracts like, the oil naturally bonds with stubborn makeup, waterproof sunscreen, and excess sebum, lifting them right out of the pores without scrubbing. Then, step 2 follows with a really gentle water-based foam on damp skin. This clears away any remaining sweat, bacteria, and microscopic debris. So here's the absolute game changer. This method perfectly counteracts the specific vulnerabilities of Asian skin we laid out earlier. It completely respects that weak mechanical barrier. It provides an incredibly deep, thorough clean, preventing acne and clearing away urban pollutants without a single ounce of the harsh, damaging friction that triggers that dreaded post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Plus, it completely clears the canvas, priming the skin to basically drink in your expensive serums. You get maximum clean with zero micro tears. And of course, the actual ingredients in these formulations are just as important as the technique itself. Japanese cleansers rely heavily on time-tested botanicals. You've got tsubaki or camellia oil, which is super rich in oleic acid, dissolving makeup while actually feeding the skin. Rice bran gently decongests and brightens without any physical abrasion. Then, for the foam step, formulators pack in humectants like hyaluronic acid and really mild amino acids. This creates a creamy, pH-balanced lather that protects your skin's microbiome instead of stripping it raw. All right, finally, part 4, the magic of sake. Let's see how ancient folklore became hard clinical science. This origin story sounds completely made up, but it's a 100% real, documented scientific discovery from the 1970s. Researchers were out observing elderly Japanese head sake brewers who are known as toji, and they noticed something incredible. While these older brewers had the weathered, wrinkled faces you'd expect for their age, their hands, which spent all day essentially taking a bath in fermented rice, were astonishingly soft, smooth, and youthful. It was like night and day. So scientists got to work and isolated the exact liquid responsible for this phenomenon. Clinically known as galactomyces ferment filtrate and famously trademarked in the beauty world as Batera, this water-like liquid is derived directly from the fermentation of a very specific sake yeast. And guys, it is a literal biological goldmine, absolutely packed to the brim with vitamins, amino acids, minerals, and organic acids. This brilliantly illustrates how the ancient folklore of sake brewing translates directly into measurable, clinical, dermatological benefits. When you apply this ferment filtrate to your face, it actively upregulates filaggrin, a protein that is vital for holding on to water. It contains kojic acid to inhibit melanin production, which directly tackles that hyperpigmentation vulnerability we talked about. It features alpha-LHE to stimulate even more collagen, and it actively enhances the tight junctions between your skin cells, physically strengthening that vulnerable skin barrier against oxidative stress. It is quite literally liquid nurture for your skin's nature. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really ponder. We've seen the thick collagen dermis, and we've also seen the hyperreactive, easily pigmented barrier. Is the famous, flawless Asian skin really just a lucky stroke in the biological lottery? Or is it the ultimate reward of an entire cultural philosophy? A philosophy that for centuries has prioritized meticulous, gentle, and preventative care, utilizing things like fermented botanicals, way over the harsh, quick-fix scrubs we so often lean on. The science strongly suggests that how you nurture your skin might just be the most powerful biological secret of all. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.